So this is an open question for all three of you. If you take academia, we've talked about that. We've talked about business, the private sector. We've talked about government. There is sort of the Philadelphia approach to things, not behaving like the fourth largest media market in the country. And those of us from the area know what that means. But I feel it's time that we start behaving like the fourth largest media market in the country and taking a leadership role and being very proud of it. And we're going to do our part, Philadelphia Media Network, to promote that, and that's why we created One Great Idea for the city of Philadelphia, and to create a platform to talk about that. But who needs to step up the most right now to make that happen? Academia, the government sector, the private sector, or do all three? Just open.
I think we all have to step up to the plate. I think that, if you're talking about one great idea, let me punt a little bit and say that, if we think about a Greater Philadelphia Innovation Challenge, that challenges our corporations, that challenges government, that challenges the media, and I'll tell you a story about that. That challenges. No. It's good ending, right? So that challenges the foundations, that challenges our universities. I think we have to understand the issue, make sure that there is education out there about what the issues are, what the opportunities are. I think the event of this whole tech week is great because it brings it out front and gets people talking about it. So we talk about what's important to us. If we're not talking about it, it's not important to us. Back in the 80s, when I was working on raising a fund, I went up to Boston, about Boston area, and I was amazed. Every time I would go there, I would pick up the newspaper, and it was covered with news of the tech sector. And I would come back to Philadelphia, and you would think that technology didn't exist. And that went on for years and years and years. You are now covering it. This is wonderful, and it has to happen. So.
The business section leads with technology.
Great.
So
now all I have to do is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. That's, let's just get it moving. I think that's what we have to do.
Good. Okay.
Sorry.
No, jump right in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really think that government is the one entity that can bring everybody else together towards the common goal, and it's much harder to accomplish sort of a shared mission if the government is working against that or is not interested in it or providing leadership with respect to it. And so I think we just need to focus on trying to enhance innovation through the proactive involvement of government. For example, I think New York put out a $50,000 prize for app development based on their open government standards, and they got about $2.4 million worth of applications for one $50,000 prize. But what they did was engage everybody in the technology community in solving government problems. And so I think we need to start to lead and do things like that, whether we have I don't know if that's possible in life sciences, but it's certainly possible in technology. There's a danger awareness app in New York City for crime statistics. So if you're walking down a street at a certain time where there have been lots of muggings, the danger awareness meter goes up, and you can, go left. It's much safer to get where you're going that way. And we can be doing that in Philadelphia, and should be.
So to pick up on New York, they also raised $100 million, led by the government of New York City, $100 million fund for pre-seed and seed capital investments, $100 million from their corporate community.
I'm going to disagree there because Harvard and a bunch of other studies have shown that government making investment decisions really is ineffective in terms of the way it's operated. I know the money was put with a private fund,
right,
and most of it came from Mayor Bloomberg himself. So they're in a bit of a unique situation.
We have to challenge but they don't manage the funds. No,
but I will say this: there are a lot of very successful multi-billion-dollar companies that are founded here that have not been asked by our leadership and our government to participate in something like that, right, and they should be.
Right.
Thank you. That's my point.
You only have
so I would just add to that. Having a mayor that's a billionaire would be nice on our wish list. Okay? but even without that, I think that what we lack is as Roseanne said, is a sense of coming together over particular issues like this. I mean, economic development has never been something that we've all sort of embraced together. It was delegated to Roseanne's organization or my organization or others. When we were flush with money, you could go to the agencies and they had resources. For the foreseeable future, that's just not going to happen. And so, the need for public-private partnerships, I think, is more urgent than ever. I don't think it's going to be a pretty picture to try to put together budgets and put together transform government in this environment, but I think it needs to happen. But I also have a sense of optimism that some of the pieces are there. I mean, we have some very unique assets in this city. Comcast, NBC Universal is a juggernaut, even if it's cable town with a K, okay? But it is a force to be reckoned with, but they need to be brought into the fold. The William Penn Foundation has a new endowment and a new leader, so I'm optimistic that foundations can come together better. And then the nonprofits and the government-funded agencies that Roseanne and I represent, I think will be part of that as well. So I think we are poised, and I think it's a moment in time that we can't afford to waste.
Thank you very much.